Excuse me, I've never seen the definitions. Walt said he provided them to the board and I've
No,
never
I
seen
didn't,
them.
I said them a minute ago when I got up.
You just said it, I didn't.
Malfeasance, I'll say it again.
Okay.
Malfeasance is the commission of an unlawful act. Misfeasance or nonfeasance is the omission of an act which a person ought to do.
Is that for both Miss and
Yes.
her? So,
That's to determine, now, the board, that's your job, the five of you, to determine whether the allegations that have been made by, in the written charges fit those descriptions.
Lou.
I'm Louis Bushy. I'm a resident of Lake Township. I live on 25. I'm a farmer in the area. My family's been here 120 years. And I'd like to point out to Paul Beck, John McCullen, they want to have a happy medium. Well, my wife and I went on vacation in March, and we had vandalism done to our home. The state police was out, prosecutor knows about it. So what has happened? We never had it happen before in 120 years. Well, was it on account of the election? That's the way the election turned out? I don't know. Something happened.
Mr. Betts.
Yeah, I have a question too. There was an allegation made that the approved minutes were changed. Is that true?
Which is that?
Was it July's? That they were approved and then changed afterwards?
No, they weren't approved, so they were changed before they were approved at the board meeting.
May I ask the clerk, is that true?
I'm not too sure. Are you talking about the correction made to the July
Yes.
minutes? I've got that too.
Was that correction made after they were approved?
No, the correction was made before they were.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll close the public end of this, and
Commissioner, could I make one last
Yes.
closing comment here? The attorney, Township attorney, and I do disagree very slightly, but very slightly. He's done a good job for you. The thing I point out, I went to Black's Law Dictionary because obviously those definitions, nonfeasance, misfeasance, malfeasance, are key to the whole thing here. And I looked up some definitions on them. Nonfeasance being the omission to perform a required duty at all. And whatever was said by Tim, that it was a required duty. As to Lou, it wasn't his duty, it was the planning commission's duty. Secondly, misfeasance, the improper performance of some act which a person may lawfully do. Nobody's alleged that I ever heard anything about any improper performance of a duty. The duty would be his job as a planning commissioner. 3, malfeasance, evil doing, ill conduct, the commission of some act which is positively unlawful. The doing of an act which is wholly wrongful and unlawful. Clearly, we're not even close to those definitions. So, even though Mr. Salins and I have very slightly different definitions, they're fundamentally the same ones that stands on the bid. And it is important, of course, that you decide whether there really was. Because if you vote in favor of this, you're saying these gentlemen are guilty. They are guilty of nonfeasance, misfeasance, or malfeasance, which they are not. But you need to look beyond that state statute at the federal Constitution. The Constitution and the federal law prohibits any state or any subdivision of the state from violating the civil rights of any United States citizen. That law dates from the Reconstruction days after the Civil War. That statute has held a number of government officials liable over the years that have denied someone the right to freedom of speech or the right to associate. So please be very, very careful. You need to honor not only your own electors and their electors, but you must honor the law of Michigan and you must honor the federal constitutional requirements. Thank you.
okay, we'll close the public. Gary?
Yeah, I would like to say something. Mr. Beck would like to have a happy medium. But I understand from what I hear that he's on a lawsuit to sue the township board, also the Henrys and a few other these people tonight that had negative comments. And not only that, I understand Mrs. Fisher's sign was stolen. Her treasurer's sign was gone, as well as Mr. Bushy's yard being tore up. So there are things going on that people don't know about. But if you want a happy medium, why sue your township board?
I stand you.
I can
You got
I can answer that. I mean, the reason I signed on to it, you tried to pull the same thing with Arnie. You manufactured some specious charges to try to get him out of it. Essentially doing the same thing that you're doing to these guys. Like the gentleman who said, if you really wanted Lou to have the board vote on it, you could ask. You wanted the wind ordinance drafted, he did that for you. Even though it's probably premature by the standards of DPD. You know, we saw things, anticipated things based on what you did with Arnie. Saw things being done in the shadows, being done in back rooms. And I didn't like it. That's the reason I signed up to it. Oh, really?
Okay.
And also, I had stock signs stolen from in front of my house on Champaign Road. So it's a door that swings both ways. Don't.
Dorothy sign's been there for 30 years.
Yeah, it's been there for 30 years.
And I resent these.
Chairman, stop this.
Okay. There's nothing to do what we're here for. Mr. Henry, do you have anything to say about?
Exactly what Mr. Salem said,
Okay,
these
fine.
are all irrelevant.
Okay, we're going to close the public hearing.